So I've had a pretty shitty few days, but I'm back here and I'm gonna be back here every day again after this. I'm still so angry. Angry at so many things. How do I release this anger and not have it follow me wherever I go? Why does it seem like what makes me feel special also becomes one of the parts of me that causes me such tremendous hurt? Why am I made to feel like there's something wrong with me for being different, for feeling so deeply? My whole life, I've just wanted to feel valued. I try so hard to be a good person, only to meet those that know exactly how to take advantage of it and make me feel even worse about myself through their actions towards me. Will I ever find someone who values me? Someone who allows me to feel and be myself so that I can use my gifts instead of them using me for their own intentions, which completely disregard me and break my very being to the absolute core, only to make me the bad guy with every little misstep I might make. I feel so alone. I've a feeling that has followed me my entire life. How do I stand up for myself without allowing myself to be dismantled by their words and actions? How do I protect myself from hurt without shutting out the world and the beautiful experiences that it may bring? What is the point of building myself back up if life keeps bringing me the exact situation that will break me down again? How do I learn to see the patterns emerging when my social intelligence is close to zero in the situations that actually matter? Do I completely shut off the world, or will that eliminate many of the experiences that make life worth living? Or do I accept the pain and suffering as an essential part of the journey? Time to heal myself before Time to heal myself before I do it again. I don't know how much more emotional abuse I can take before I reach my breaking point. So there were a few factors that made me think this way this morning. I had This one's easy to talk about is I had a bit of a blow up with my dad the other day, but luckily we managed to have a really meaningful conversation, and I have managed to just bring my anger back down in regards to that. One of the things that I've realized with, especially because I still stay at home with my parents, is sometimes something that maybe seems small to my parents can affect me really deeply, because that one instance where, for example, the fallout happened brings back every single memory and every single trauma from my childhood, so that I was not only reacting to what happened to the moment, but also everything that has built up underneath. And one of the big themes it seems that is happening to me at the moment is a lot of like rejections. That was when I'm not able to let out my feelings. That feels like my the things that have become a part of me are being rejected when I'm not haven't been allowed to feel those feelings. But then, not only that, but then there was another situation that probably amplified that um, interaction that I had with my dad. And the anger was not only the anger of that moment, but there's been a lot of other pain and suffering that I've been dealing with that I think just came out. And I also didn't react the way that I would want to have reacted given all the work I'm trying to do on myself on a daily basis. Then the second thing, which I'm not going to go into too much details because I've already got in trouble once for talking about it too much on with the content that I make. But one of the things that I've also come to realize is one of the big parts of my life at the moment is not only being able to make content, but I am in such a place of isolation doing the personal work that I need to every day. And a lot of the time, I don't have a sounding board. I don't know what you would actually call the term to be able to unpack my feelings and be able to have people to talk to release my emotions. But what has also happened a lot of the time when I have tried to meet up with people is that often comes with um, advice, which I'm not looking for in that moment. I've really just wanted a way to release my feelings and a way to feel heard. And because I've isolated myself so much, one of the ways that I've been able to get all those internal feelings and thoughts out is through sitting here and talking about it. Because one of the things that I've come to learn about ADHD and autism and a lot of those sort of things is you need to get the words out of your body or out of your mind so that you don't ruminate on it too often. And what's happened over the past couple months is my heart has been absolutely shattered. And I managed to finally have one, well, for now anyway, one of the last conversations I will have with the root of my heartbreak and be able to get some sort of closure and be able to talk, not talk about my feelings, but at least feel a little bit more heard, because I feel like I wasn't heard for a majority of the relationship, because one of the big stories of the relationship was me trying to be there through all of the traumas that she had recently experienced, and also other big tragedies that happened, such as some of her pets dying. And it was constantly me trying to be there for her, to hold space for her while having to suppress my emotions. And that has just led me into another depression, because one of the things that I've come to learn from watching a lot of podcasts and YouTube videos, and also the book that I'm currently reading, is that suppressed emotions turn into depression when they are not allowed to be felt. And one of the things that I had, since I have quite good pattern recognitions, one of the patterns that I'd recognized throughout that relationship is the reason why she was not able to have any space for me and allow me to feel valued, or just be able to felt like I been seen at all. Obviously, I was seen, but seen for how I truly am was the fact that she was still in love with her ex the whole time throughout our relationship, which she might not have been aware of at the time, but to me, it's kind of obvious. um, what I try to do as well, which I don't know if it's quite the right thing or to do or not, is I try to think that how I would feel if that was me in that exact situation. And if I'd done a lot of those things that she did in the relationship, it would have been because I was still in love with the person. And the first time that it happened, all the blame was in a way shifted onto me and onto the other person without her taking any responsibility for it. And then the second time it happened, again, all the blame was shifted from her to everyone else in the situation, where I wanted to, well, I got, I managed to get out of the conversation some of what I was hoping for, but also there were lots of things that I don't think I'll ever quite get closure on. And a normal, like, that's one of the things that broke me down so much in that relationship is I'm clearly not normal. Whether I've been formally diagnosed for all these things or not, anyone that truly knows me knows that I don't I don't think any of these things are problems. I don't know why neurodiversity is not seen as a gift, but then also it can allow me to do such great things, but it also leads me to have really bad reactions in certain situations. And they actually, to a large degree, are outside of my control. I'm able to control them a lot better now through the 2 meditations I do each day, as well as some other practices, trying to get my sleeping better, trying to stop smoking weed, which I have, stopping caffeine, stopping all these things that would allow me to react a lot quicker. And I have been trying to do my best, but it just, like when I was saying earlier, it was such a constant theme of like rejection is when I couldn't be myself, and with, again, realizing that she was still in love with her ex, all of these things were just rejection after rejection. There were small little rejections, but for someone like me, especially if this rejection sensitivity dysphoria is such a common thing in people with ADHD, or a, is a shared feature in everyone with ADHD, something that might be very small to a neurotypical is multiplied hundreds of times in my own mind and brain. And yeah, that's why I am actually, like, in my reading was I am so angry because my whole life I've just wanted someone to be able to see me for me. And there's been very few people that I've had in my life where a lot of the times I was also my own doing, was before I was not comfortable to show to my friends who I really was deep down. So obviously that I can't say anything about them not seeing me for who I am because I did not show who I really was. But in this relationship, I really wanted to be true to myself because this whole journey started about a year ago now when I first stopped drinking alcohol, when I said I'd no longer want to be putting on this fake smile for the world. I want to be able to show who I am, be eccentric to some degree, not in terms of maybe how I dress, but just in terms of my personality and how I am. And I'd finally come into a state of being true to myself, only for that self that I'd now started to be true to being rejected so many times over and over again. And now what's also so conflicting to me is she also had a lot of trauma that made her react the way that she did to me in a lot of instances. And it's just made me again realize how all of us are so controlled by our traumas that we are not willing to look at. This is not in terms of specifically between me and her now, but just in terms of the world. We are told, men are told, don't be vulnerable, man up, do all these things, chase money. But all the people that are chasing money and then stop caring about the world because they'd rather make money, are those people doing that truly out of just a space of wanting to make money? Or is that to cover and to soothe a trauma that is very deep, but then at the same time be resistant to the idea that there is even such a thing as trauma controlling their life? So this was a big ramble today. Again, my mind is pretty fucked up at the moment. I'm pretty bleak. My outlook on life at the moment is not very good at all. Over the weekends were some of the first, just seemingly out of nowhere, but it makes sense. It's the first times I've had thoughts in a very long time of not wanting to be here at all and just wanting to fucking check myself out. And if some of the things did not happen as they did this weekend, maybe I would have kept going down that path. But I care about myself enough to want to be able to see what my future can look like. And this is basically my big takeaway from what's happening at the moment, is there are two big life-changing moments when you can completely alter the trajectory of your life. One is your rock bottom, which I had this time last year, or just before this time last year, when I decided I needed to stop drinking, or I was actually, just gonna throw my whole life away. And the second is heartbreak, because I was trying to chase, again, just making money over the past year, trying to do something to get a job because that's what the world tells you to do. And this breakup has allowed me to take a step back and reevaluate what I actually want for my life, what I want to be doing with my life, and what I want to be doing with my life now, which at first I was like, maybe it's a way of being spiteful, or not being spiteful, but doing something in spite of what has been done to me. But I think it's more in terms of this is just an essential part of my journey, and it's allowed me to figure out exactly what I want to do. And that is, I want to be able to work with people, specifically people like me that have some sort of neurodiversity, because I've also realized I love interacting with people like me, because most of the people I encounter and that you see in the world of work, or sports people, not necessarily sports people, there's a lot of ADHD people that are sports people, so cut that out. But yeah, just I want to be able to work with people, and I don't need a ton of money. I need enough money to live a comfortable life. I want to eventually have a family and kids one day, which is why this heartbreak hurt me so much, because it just, I was like, oh, maybe I'm finally going in the right direction, only for, yeah, this just to be a kind of big slap in the face to some degree, just in terms of the rejections that I felt. But then it's also, again, allowed me that to figure out exactly what I want to do with my life, which is working with people that have neurodiversity. What do you even call? I can't figure out how to use that word right in a sentence. But people with similar issues to me, and I want to start doing some coaching courses, life coaching courses, those sort of things. Because I also look back at my 20s and I was like, well, I always thought my 20s had just been failure after failure after failure, but they'd actually been training me up for this exact moment, because I've been working with people through coaching at the surf school, um, through various other things that I've done. And I've again realized that I really love working with people. And then I'd also love to go study psychology. I'll see exactly how that fits in, because right now at the moment I'm looking at the degrees to do, how much they cost, and it's all very intimidating because I'm flat broke. Where am I going to get the money to start fucking studying? So my goal is now to hopefully do some coaching courses, be able to start doing some life coaching, business, whether it's business, any professional type coaching, really, because I also did sports. I understand a lot of what can break a human being, because I've been essentially so broken for most of my life, and I'm now able to I've been able to pull myself out of that dark place that I was in for almost 2 decades. And I think that the biggest thing you can do is lead by example. So how can you help someone change their life if you haven't learned to change your life? So I think that this has all been training me and getting me ready for what is my true calling. And it's going to be a long road, but I don't need to travel anymore. I don't need to consume excessively. Yes, I love my camera gear because it's allowing me to create content and be sitting here today. But besides that, I don't need too much more besides what will be needed to eventually have a family one day. So that ended up being a lot longer than I expected, and it was a bit of a fucking mess, but I just needed to get some of what's on my mind out there, and this has helped me do that, and that's why I'm making these videos. So tomorrow I'll be back here again. I think won't be talking about on this too often, but I kind of needed to make this video so it gives context to everything that I'll be feeling in the coming weeks and months. And again, this is a big part of my story, and it's going to help me get to exactly where I want to get. So thanks for watching, and see you again tomorrow.